I didn't get into stand up until I was in my 30s at literally as a therapy like homework assignment.
No shit.
It's like, yeah, go be around people.
Wait, go on. Well, that's a fucking doctor's.
Dude, my thing.
You struggle with being in front of people.
No.
Let them judge you.
Well, so
it's like
the worst place to get judged.
It's like the fucking accountant where it's like, oh, he hates loud noises and stimuli. He needs more of it. Like, it's like, well, but I mean, that kind of works.
So, but it was an occupational therapist and like literally doing talk therapy to reintegrate me into society because like way before COVID, like I got my first job as like in graphic design while I was still getting my bachelor's degree online. Was like working from home. So I was getting my degree online from home, working from home, and it reached a point where it's like, I looked up one day, I was like, oh, I haven't peopled in 9 months.
I don't need to touch grass.
Yeah, yeah, I am grass. You know? But yeah, I started like after the diagnosis and working with the occupational therapist and stuff at a certain point.
So you had never thought of doing stand-up before that?
I wanted to do stand-up when I was like 25 and I was like married at the time.
How old are you now?
I'm 35.
35, okay.
So yeah, I wanted to start like, a decade ago. But I was, again, like easily manipulatable and like, because I like didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something off in my brain. It was one of those like, I was easily open to suggestions. So I was like, I'm going to go do stand-up. Like I wrote all these jokes and yes, like I wrote all these jokes. I'm going to go to this open mic. And my ex-wife at the time just like the day before was like, are you sure you think you're like funny enough that you're going to talk in front of other people and they're going to enjoy it?
That is a hurtful thing for a significant other to say.
Yeah. And at that point I was like, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking. You know? And
fucking really?
Yeah.
That's honestly one of those,
what do you think now, bitch?
That is such an autism.
Yeah.
It's like, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're totally right.
I've gotten standing ovations in arenas in front of thousands of people. Looks like you were wrong. Like, what's the Bob Barker line? Dude?
Looks
somebody
like the price
guessed
is
wrong,
bitch.
bitch. Yeah. So yeah, I was at the time. It wasn't stand up. I wanted to make my own like adult animated cartoon series. But I was trying to teach myself like storyboarding, script writing, animation, like
which is
all of this
exhausting.
stuff. Yeah, and so my occupational therapist literally was like, you just put additional hurdles in front of you and the shit you need to get out of your brain to relieve pressure on your executive function. So cut out the middleman. And she was like, I want you to just take like 3 jokes from like the show you've been writing and just go to an open mic. And I was like, well, I can't exactly blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but I can write some more. And she's like, fucking go do it. And then at that point, I had my medical marijuana prescription and my Wellbutrin, like emotional regulation. And I was like,
so like every stand-up.
Yeah, I was like, wait, maybe I can do this, you know? And then it happened. I got laughs like on the first joke I ever told, and I was like, oh,
which doesn't
you're
happen.
hooked. Yeah.
As soon as you get that, it's like I've never done it before, but I assume it's what heroin feels like, dude. It's just that immediate, like you're like, oh, once it hits your bloodstream.
I told one joke and then I fell asleep and needed to be Narcan.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
No, because I've seen a lot of your stuff. Like I didn't even know. Like I didn't know your name before yesterday, but I've seen your stuff before, and a lot of it's like the self-deprecating kind of stuff, and it works so fucking well for you.
I have a question, and I know it's different for everybody, but do the lights ever fucking jumble your brain?
So they used to. So when I first started doing stand-up, I'd fully disassociate. I'd go on stage and I'd very still. I could be still. I didn't stim, but it was all of my willpower to just stand there and be still. So I was very flat, very monotone, no emotion, no expression, no nothing. And it wasn't until I figured out, like, I was literally with my therapist and I was talking about, I was like, oh, I told this joke and it didn't work. And she's like, wait, so you're telling jokes about autism, but you're afraid for people to see that you're autistic. And I was like, you bitch, how'd you just unlock, you know what I mean? Like, because sometimes, I don't know if you've had this happen with your son, like you might like be trying to explain something to him and he's just not getting it, and then you rephrase it in the one way that all of a sudden he's just like, oh, unlocked.
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time.
It was you're talking about autism, but you're afraid for people to see you as autistic. And I was like, motherfucker, dang it. Yeah.
Because
It's like the Eminem 8 Mile thing.
Right.
It's like once you call it out, it's like, oh damn, that's part of the bit now, and you can't use it against me.
and you lean into it.
Yeah.
You're fucking full.
And you have some good old fashioned mom spaghetti afterwards.
I would, and literally it'd be sometimes like in between jokes where I'd take a breath and like I'd start to stem or something, or people would like, you could hear it in my voice and people would be like, what's wrong with him? But because I wasn't just
owning it.
Exactly. And so then I started like kind of tailoring my material to that. It's like, okay, I'm just right up front. Hey, you're probably wondering what's going on. Me too. Like that kind of shit. And just dealing with it right up front. And